Teachers of Reddit, what is the best roast you ever told a student? The other day another teacher came into our class who has a bald head and he just got it waxed or something, and my mate says fresh polish sir. And the teacher fires back with anything for your mother mate. Class went ape shit. Teacher, my mother, please sit down, the lesson has started. Student, you can't tell me that, I'm not a dog. Teacher, I know you're not a dog, because a dog is able to do that simple command. She is still proud about that one and tells it at family gatherings. I had a really fun teacher everyone liked, and when students were talking about their various weekend exploits, he'd stare at them and then go, has anyone ever told you that you're an idiot? I'm not calling you one, but has anyone ever told you that? My maths teacher in secondary school stuck my middle finger up at her, only one finger for a woman my age. My 15-year-old self was mortified. You won that battle, Ms. Walcott. I didn't intend it as a roast, but I got a long serious look and a pause when I told a student, you're smart enough to be president, but with your manners, you're going to get fired from McDonald's instead. After announcing the upcoming quiz for the umpteenth time. Student, wait. What? You can't spring a test on us with 1 day notice. Me, I've been announcing it daily for 2 weeks. Student, I never heard it. Me, it's okay. I only wake you up for the really important announcements. Class roared. 3rd grade. Class troublemaker is galloping around the classroom pretending to be a horse. Teacher is continually telling him to go to his seat. He finally starts to gallop to his chair when the teacher walks up, takes his chair, looks at him and says, "Horses don't sit." Made him stand the entire rest of the class. I think about that moment a lot. One of my favorite grade school memories. I'm not a teacher, but I remember when I was 13 we had a really laid-back, jokey science teacher. When one of my mates asked if he could go to the toilet, my teacher let him, but just as he was about to get to the door the teacher shouted that he'd forgotten something. My mate turned around to see my teacher holding a magnifying glass and a pair of tweezers. In 8th grade, we had a mock constitutional convention and we were each assigned a real person to portray. The class clown was assigned Benjamin Franklin. When questioned on her decision, my teacher's response was, I tried to think of who would be perfect for the role and no one came to mind. Then I thought of who would be the worst possible reincarnation of Ben Franklin. And here we are. Your parents married in vain. An English teacher, not me, was teaching the lay thing, and he did so by drawing up a table. The rows were the tenses, and the columns were icons for each action. There was someone laying down a sword, someone lying in bed, and someone telling a lie. Name is handsome. While explaining how reproduction works, one of my students was making gnarly comments, so I said, don't worry, you won't be getting any. I'm not a teacher, but this is a legendary one that I've heard. The kids are in a math class, and one kid just raises his hand and when am I ever going to use this in real life? The teacher says you won't, but the smart kids will. I got random breakouts and I was talking to my English teacher about how a big forehead pimple I had was finally going away, and I also had a cold sore on my lip, and so I told him all excited, look. It's going away? And he says yeah, and it fell down to your lip. I had a kid picking on the religious girl in class, asking her all sorts of tricky theological questions just so he could catch her out or something. When he asked, does hell exist? I said yes, it does. It's here, in the classroom, with you. Students sitting with 3 friends, 1 in 4 people in town the school is in, have an STD. Pointing to friends, 1, 2, 3, 4. As he said 4, he pointed to himself and smiled like an idiot, as if to say he had sex. Disregarding the nastiness of implying that he had himself an STD, I said, "Student name, you don't need to worry about it. You can't catch anything from your hand." My biology teacher was a bit of a dickhead. Always making jokes about how boys were better than girls, making remarks about people's appearance, etc. He also used to beat people with a 1-meter long ruler, but that's a story for another time. Anyway, we started the chapter about sexual reproduction, and at the end of the chapter we would do a graded dissection of either the male or female reproductive system of rabbits. My teacher was explaining how the female reproductive system worked before turning to one of my classmates and said, "Q, better pay attention, this is the closest you'll ever come to seeing what a woman looks like under her clothes." Not a teacher, but there was this small annoying kid on my class, and one day, he came to school with a graduation hat. He started to be annoying and said something to the teacher, so the teacher said, "Where did you graduate from?" "Puppy school." My high school teacher put the sign up by the clock that said, "Time will pass, but will you?" May not be a roast, but my high school teachers were very dry. Not a teacher, but was there to hear the roasting. I had an amazing biology teacher in high school. Everyone loves him in the community, and he was a teacher and coach for over 50 years. Lots of great stories about the man. My bio teacher would often whip out this amazingly booming voice, for whatever reason. To wake us up, emphasize a point, to ask the neighboring classroom to turn up the heating through the wall, and of course to roast fools. Anyway, one day in the early 2000s, I'm in my bio class along with this other guy. We'll call him Chad. Chad was popular, a jock, but kind of a douche, so it wasn't uncommon for teachers to mess with him in particular. And on this day, he decided to text in class, holding his cell phone in his lap. My teacher obviously notices this, and switches to his giant non-inside voice, "Chad, you are either playing with your penis, or texting on your phone. I don't see a magnifying glass, so it must be your phone. Either way, put it away." Not a teacher, but my friend was, and still is, annoying sometimes and looks for some laughs every now and then. We sit down on a bench during lunchtime and we see a teacher walk by. She calls over to the teacher, "Hey sir, gimme that bin. We have some trash." He looks back at us and yells, "Why, do you want me to put you in IT?"